When you start Piranesi 5 for the first time, you'll notice that the user interface has been simplified. Icons are clearer, and there's more space available for you to display the images you're working on. See how tools are arranged in toolbars. They can be moved, joined and moved around as a group, closed, and opened again, like this. Drawing tools are arranged down the left-hand side here, with the Locks toolbar directly underneath. We'll look at the tools in more detail later. You'll also have noticed the new Help Assistant down the left side of your screen. This tells you how the current tool you are using operates and gives you a few tips on how to use it to its best advantage. It changes automatically each time you select a new tool. So, when I select the Cutout tool, I am offered step-by-step instructions on how to use cutouts, and back to the Brush tool. The Help Assistant links directly to the full Piranesi help if you want more information. Once help is open, you can navigate through it in the usual way. Then, when you click another link in the Help Assistant, the appropriate topic is again displayed. Now let's close the help.